Welcome to DevTech 101, aka Black Mental, Design and Specification Technology, also known as IT. And in today's video, we're going to start our new series here. And our series today that we're going to be focusing on is we're going to be focusing on the journey through the technology space. So if you was with me on the first series that I did, it was basically how to get into technology. So now that you have gotten into that specific role, what I want to focus on in the conversation today is going to be about how to maneuver within the space itself and just some ideas and things that I want to just pitch out here to you, provide some insight, give you just a map so that you can kind of overlook that and actually see what's going on in that particular part of the space and everything. So just want to make sure that this is most definitely for your education and definitely for not just for the entertainment purposes, but for you to actually learn from it as well. So most of the time, most IT pros, they start off in a help desk related role, right? And the help desk related roles that they're starting off in is they start off on the base level and they have to figure out how can they make it up the food chain to the next level role from the help desk role. And a lot of people have different terms, whether it's help desk technician or desktop support technician or something along that matter. But most people know what a SysAdmin is, or system administrator. So you'll hear those terms vary. You have a network administrator, you can have a security administrator, you can have a systems administrator, you can have a database administrator, basically someone that administers the system. So in this episode today, I want to share some real life experience on a journey from entry-level support to becoming a person managing servers, networks, and company infrastructure if you're working within an organization itself. But here's the absolute truth. Most IT careers don't start necessarily at the top. A lot of people tend to want to maneuver their way into a role at the top as their first job offer. And I want to basically be able to show you what that looks like. If I can provide some examples, I'm going to go along with this as well. So definitely bear with me. And because I most definitely will show you that information. And in the IT space with different companies is going to vary depending on the size and the structure of the company itself. It just really depends. But we can definitely provide at least just some kind of image that you can actually see so that you can at least get that down the way there. So just definitely keep that in mind as we look at much more from a hierarchical structure with that, okay? Now, when you're starting off in the field, help desk tickets, password resets, troubleshooting calls. You're going to have end users who are not going to be happy with what you're doing. So you are basically having to figure out your way as you're making it through the structure of the organization itself. But that's not the end of it. That is not the end of those particular types of calls. Those are not the ends of those particular type of tickets or things that as such. Those are just beginning phases. But what I want to show you is the real path from help desk to system administrator and the way that most of us actually do it in the space. So I've spoken a lot in the past series, and I'm going to be speaking a lot in this series. If you're in a help desk related role in an organization, you probably already know what that looks like, okay? And in organizations, that is going to actually change depending on what level in the IT space that you are in. Most companies, on the average, have at least a general structure of the organization itself, whether you're going from the help desk technician role, you're going more up to an IT administrator role, and things like that. See, so when you're looking at the career path, Most of you probably went to, for example, the A plus career path, right? In the A plus career path, when you're getting into the cybersecurity, not cybersecurity space, if you're looking for open certifications, you will most definitely have what they call your level 1 roles. So let me go ahead and share this with you so that you can see this here. And some of the most common tasks that you will see in here, in these particular roles, is going to be password resets, account setups is another one. And not only do you have account setups, you also will have parts of it where you are dealing with printers, Wi-Fi issues, and things of that nature. So, for example, looking at this specific one here, these are some of the ones that you can focus in on as you begin to look down through here, because you're going to need to actually see what is going on. So I'm going to let you focus in on that for a second. So as you can see here, these are some of the kind of the standard roles that was applied in the IT support specialist role. IT support specialist, another fancy way of saying IT technician. Those, I mean, it's kind of one of those similar roles there. Now, what I want to show you now is, let's go ahead and jump into the org chart. All right. So as we look at an org chart, for example, like what we have here on the screen, this is just an example for education purposes for you here. When you're looking at the top of the chart, you're looking at what they call a CIO or CTO, Chief Technology Officer, Chief Information Officer. A Chief Technology Officer is one that focuses on the vision of the IT department throughout its longevity in the company that it's in. A CIO they're more outward facing, external to the organization, looking for new opportunities, responsible for the technology of the organization. The CIO is more internal in the organization, as they begin to look at the things that are going on in the company, providing the direction for it. Now, there is a lot of titles up here, a lot of you probably not familiar with, and some of you may aspire to be. But from where you are as whether you're a help desk technician, whether you are a security technician, or whatever the case may be, you will work up to a point where you will probably end up, if you decide to go into management, in those particular type of roles that are going to be on the top line there, from the CISO, the organization has one, IT director, VP of IT, applications development manager, or data analytics manager. The roles are going to continue to change. Where the help desk technician falls into place, when you look under, for example, the IT director of infrastructure or the operations, IT operations, you're going to have the system broken up into the networking, you're going to have it broken into the systems, the cloud, and the help desk. So you may evolve into a help desk service manager type role, or a systems administrator role. So that systems manager is almost equivalent to a systems administrator. So a help desk technician can grow from an entry-level role of help desk technician into desktop support, IT support, which can then go to a systems administrator role, then can go into a systems administrator and a senior systems administrator. So underneath these right here, especially underneath the VP title or manager, IT manager, most people only know the IT manager. They may not know about the other underlying roles underneath that, because that can just vary depending on the organization that you're working for. So make sure to keep those in mind as well as you are going through it. Now, the skills that you're going to need, you're going to definitely need customer service like skills. You're going to most definitely need your skill set regarding how to troubleshoot. You're going to have to know when to troubleshoot something, when to call for help. Normally, you'll be able to set a time frame like that within the organization itself. You also need to know how to work with Windows or Mac systems, Mac OS, Windows. At this point in time, we have Windows 11 that is out at the time of this video. But those are some of the basics. And ticketing systems. Most organizations have ticketing systems that are out there which help them figure out what type of documentation systems do they have the IT pros can use in order to enter tickets. So there are a couple of different ones that are out there. You can basically go online to actually the Google search those. So for an example, just so that I can show you here on the channel, so that we can go through this here. I'm just going to provide this to you so that we can actually take a look at it and actually see it real time, so that we can definitely provide the information and everything. Let's take a look at this one right here. And again, you all can definitely just let me know if you have any questions about it here. So these are not absolute. These are just merely examples. So looking at a ticket system within here, we're going to go to this one right here. Let's take a look at this here. So there's so many different examples out there. You have anything from Managed Engine. You have Happy Fox, which I never heard of that one before, but you can basically go through and just kind of see what ticket systems could actually work for your organization depending on the size. Zendesk I've heard of before. You have ServiceNow, Fresh Service. Sometimes people go into Reddit. They look and find IT ticket systems there. And this just goes on and on down the list for different types of ones that you can use. You can definitely do Google search IT systems for tickets. Actually find those real life examples out there that you can actually use to facilitate and how you want your IT structure to be in terms of documenting. It is very important that you find a ticket system, or if you're in the process in a new or small organization, having access to be able to help implement something like that is definitely a great experience for you, but you're going to definitely be using that a lot in the help desk role. Your certifications, whether you're using any ones that's like the CompTIA A+, that is another type of certification. We talked about that on the channel. I'll show you examples of that then, so you can definitely pay attention to that as you see fit. ITIL foundations. Now the ITIL foundations one that you can take a look at is another certification to basically help you on your journey with the Information Technology Infrastructure Library. That is a different certification based on agile use into like that kind of stuff, as far as structure to use within an organization itself. Now, moving from help desk role into a desktop support role or IT support specialist is going to be much more advanced type of things that you get into, basically breaking down and fixing desktops, laptops, and mobile devices. If you have those within the organization, it really depends. You may be able to probably get into setting up some kind of structure for OS imaging and deployment. So you can definitely take a look at that as you begin to, learn how to do those things. Now, supporting enterprise applications, that's going to be much more custom to the organization itself. So it's not something you can really learn in the classroom or just online. It just depends on what the organization is like. But you will get some exposure to Active Directory and group policy. Now, Active Directory, whether you're using that in the cloud or you're using that much more in the like the on-prem, it just really depends on what you're going to be using that for. So that right there can be a little bit different for some people here. So once you begin to kind of look at where this is going, it is going to vary. I have to tell you that now. It is going to most definitely vary. Active Directory, most organizations are not going to really show you any type of imagery with that. But just for the record, I just want to show you just kind of what that looks like here. So if you take a look here, this is just an example picture. This is not real here. But when you look at the top level here for the domain internally for that company, depending on what it is, the structure, this is how Active Directory looks like. And it looks very archaic. Some of you may be using Azure. It just really depends on where you using this at or whatever. But it's going to look similar to this format. So you will be managing these kind of type of things here: domains, computers, and different security protocols, servers, and things like that. What we're seeing right now here are basically security groups, meaning how you get people access into an organization as you begin to move and learn different things within the company itself. So those are definitely some good pointers to definitely look at. Some of you may not even use SCCM. A lot of things are moving to the cloud. So a lot of people are getting into PowerShell. So PowerShell is most definitely another one that's out there now. You really just have to really pay attention to what you're looking at as you are going within an organization, because PowerShell can be very much more powerful. If you're into system administration, you definitely want to use PowerShell. I can't put that no other way. PowerShell is very, very interesting. You can definitely Google search that. There's definitely a lot of classes online to help you maneuver through that specific point as you're going through. And I'm just telling you just things that I've actually experienced and just giving it to you early on so that you can learn. I didn't necessarily have anyone to provide this information early on to me in order to learn as I'm going through the space. So just want you to keep that in mind. Some certifications circled around that. You may want to look at anything that's going to be dealing with Azure, Microsoft 365, going to be getting into those. Now, you move from desktop support, because you went from help desk support to desktop support specialist. Now you're moving to transition to junior systems administrator or junior network administrator. This is where you're going to be getting to the managing the policies, the group policies for an organization. When you get into managing the group policies, that means you're controlling what's going on behind the scenes of an organization in terms of figuring out how end users are addressing the needs of an organization with just, how you can control what's on the computers and things like that. Just so that you can see just a basic image of that. And I'm basically just showing you just different little screenshots to kind of help you out here, because some of you that may not have heard of any of these things, that's fine. The visuals sometimes work for most people. But when you're thinking about that specifically in an organization itself, I'm going to show you just an example so that you can take a look at it here. You'll be able to actually see. So let me get that here for you. So right here will be an example of group policy in an organization, group policy management. It's going to look similar to Active Directory, but it is a part of the toolkit. You can actually download a free copy of Active Directory, make your own lab, as we talked about in season 1, or in season 1, since we're in season 2 now. Learn how to set up group policies. Everything that you're doing locally within an environment, you can also do from a cloud solution in Microsoft Azure as well. So if you look up Azure Active Directory, Azure Active Directory is a new point now where a lot of security administrators are going into learning how to create those particular type of environments. And so people have been integrating on-premises Active Directory to Microsoft Intra IDs. Active Directory, Microsoft Intra IDs, the architecture is beginning to move from on-premises. It syncs with the Microsoft Intra ID, and then you have your different tiers that are there. There's going to be much more high-level certifications with this. You go on the security side, Security Plus, any Microsoft certified, any cloud administration license for this will probably be the best bet for you all that's going through that piece. Now, you've elevated yourself from junior system administrator, junior network administrator, and moving more into system administration. The more system administration piece is going to be, you're at the mid-level there. Right before you hit IT manager, you're at the mid-level. You're taking full ownership of the Active Directory infrastructure for either Windows and or Linux systems, sometimes Mac OS as well. You're managing virtualizations, storage, backups, and patching as far as handling any kind of security hardening and monitoring and automation. So this is going to be a very, very big deal for you as you're going through here, because it is going to be where you're going to be doing some advanced scripting from PowerShell, cloud management, whether you're using AWS, Amazon Web Services, or Microsoft 365 in Azure. So definitely keep that in mind as well. Azure or AWS, one of those two you will be using. It just really depends on the organization and what the organization is willing to pay for. But your skill set is going to be more based on cloud administration and making it to security best practices, depending on how big your organization is. You may have to be a jack of all trades, to be honest with you. This will require you to probably go out and get more certifications. Maybe you can look at some type of Azure certification or AWS certification, circle around system operations administrator or something like that. So keep that in mind as you're going through it. But this most definitely is a journey for, most people. So don't get discouraged out there as you're going through it, because it is going to take you time. Remember, as you move through the organization, keep in mind as you're going through this, take a look at what I've showed you here. These are going to be key details to help you on your journey, okay? So we will most definitely be getting into another part into our not season two, our episode 2 of the series. So just to kind of give you just a heads up, when we get into that piece of the episode here, we will be getting into some very, very interesting parts here on the channel as we transition to our other part here of the episode and everything. But basically have to build those bridges, build the bridges out there, network with people to learn your next role, and definitely show your first time that you were trusted with a real network system upgrade or server fix. Definitely put it in the comments below, because I don't most definitely be here. But help desk can be a dead end job, but it's your training ground. And if you take every ticket as a chance to learn, you'll wake up one day and realize you've already done or have been doing the work at the system administrator level work. So don't rush into it. Stack your skills, stay curious, continue to learn, build those bridges, because that's how you move from resetting passwords to running systems. Been there, done that, people. I'm telling you from real life experience being in the field that I'm in. But in the next episode, we're going to be talking about IT certifications and which ones really matter or actually matter, and when you should probably go to get them. So most definitely, like, listen and subscribe. DevTech 101 aka Black Mantle. Look forward to bringing more content to you soon.
Stay sharp, stay secure, subscribe for more tech with purpose, only on DevTech 101.